So welcome to another episode. Let's talk about it. It's Quise
EJ,
and today we're going to talk about, is Ben Wallace a Hall of Famer? So Ben Wallace has been Hall of Fame eligible since 2016. He hasn't got in yet, but we're going to make a case to see if he's going to eventually get in, or he won't get in. So I'm coming from the standpoint I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I'm coming from the standpoint of where I think he's probably going to get in, but to me he's borderline getting in. I'll explain more as the video progresses.
So what side you leaning more towards, the no or the?
He will eventually. I'll say he may eventually get in, depending on the circumstances.
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but I do agree that he's going to eventually get in to the Hall of Fame because he does have some accolades to his resume. But his career, as far as career-wise, he only had maybe like 4 good years, and they all was with Detroit.
I got him as a Hall of Famer because if you say he had good 4 or 5 years, he went undrafted. So let's talk about the hero story.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere.
If he does get in, he'll be the only undrafted player ever to get into the Hall of Fame. So the fact
to date.
Yeah. Right. So the fact that he's even in the consideration showed you what them 4 or 5 years how powerful he was. I mean, he was like, so you're in 4 or 5 years. You get 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards.
Right.
Only him and Mutombo have 4. Nobody else has 4. Another reason, he knocked out the dynasty. You know what I'm saying? Kobe and Shaq. They were unstoppable. Him in Detroit, with Billups, Rip, and Rasheed, they knocked them out.
Can we put that in perspective?
So we put them in perspective. You want to say they had issues and chemistry.
It's documented they had issues.
That's documented issues, but they still made it to the finals with those issues. So it's not like they lost first round.
That's the talent.
Okay, then. So that talent still couldn't beat Detroit. They could beat everybody else. They couldn't beat Detroit.
Okay.
And I think as far as you could equally probably split up the contributors for all of them. There's 4 of them. So you could equally split it up. But none of those other players, Billups, Rip, or Rasheed, excelled at one thing.
You're missing Tayshaun.
He wasn't there all. He wasn't there.
But he was there for that championship run.
He was there for the championship run, yeah. So you got all those players. None of them excelled at one thing. Ben was the best defender 4 years straight. The best. None of them was that. So I think if you point to him, as far as what he did, to be able to be that, I think for dominating his side of the ball, we know offense is sexier than defense. So people like that more.
But even with offense, he averaged 6 points. With Detroit, he averaged about 6 points.
Right.
Blocks about 2. And rebounds 11. I mean, that's just hard for me. That's Hall of Fame.
That's right.
That's Hall of Fame numbers.
That's the stigma that I was looking at when I looked at his numbers. His numbers didn't stick out.
He averaged 3 blocks a lot of those seasons.
I think the problem is, and this goes again to the point I've made on previous videos. I think a lot of times the stats don't tell the whole story about the type of impact the player actually had out there on the field. But if you're going by his stats alone, which is mostly what happens when they start to go into these Hall of Fame careers, his stats doesn't equal Hall of Fame stats, even though, like you say, you got the Defensive Player of the Year for 4 consecutive years. He made All-NBA, defensive team, first defensive team all them years. He made All-NBA, second or third team as well. So he has a lot of the accolades in that little pocket
of 4 years.
Of 4 years. But after that, it's like, what did he do, or what happened to him?
Talk about his impact.
Right. So that's to me, that's could that be a product of the system?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The system of the players he had around him, to where he didn't.
He had to focus on
scoring. To where
scoring is not going to be the reason he get in.
Right.
I know that.
I think the truth be told, for me personally, I think that team as a whole is one of the it's almost like a San Antonio team. Their style, how each one of them played, complemented each other to the point that where it allowed everybody to do what they do.
Okay.
The way Chauncey ran the court, the way Hamilton was come off a screen shooter. Tayshaun was a perimeter shutdown defensive player.
Right.
We know what she was in the post. And then you had Ben with the defensive side of the ball. So I think that particular, to me, just because he didn't do anything once all them pieces was broken apart, Larry Brown was no longer there, and the team just was dismantled somewhat, and then he went to other teams, and I didn't even see a small glimpse of what that type of defensive player you used to be. It kind of hurt. I think it hurts. I think it really hurts his chance, and I think the fact that he's not in there now signifies that.
Right. Well, he narrowly missed it. So
yeah, he did.
All right, but you gotta talk about his impact, because when he was with Detroit, they were top 5 in defensive rating.
That's right, that's what I'm saying.
So his impact on that team, he holds records defensively for them. All-time blocks, rebounding. Like, you talking about a dude who in that short span accomplished more than what players accomplished in a whole career's worth. Like, in that 4-year span to be that dominant, I mean, you can't, it's hard to do because when you look about the best defensive players to play, you can't not say his name.
But then you want to go to Mutombo. For the fact that Ben Wallace and Mutombo was the only players in the history of the NBA to get that Defensive Player of the Year 4 consecutive times. Mutombo did it for a whole span of his career. It wasn't just a small pocket for that. He did it in his whole span of his career to where that was a consistent no matter whether he was in Denver, or Atlanta,
Philly.
Well, Philly he started declining, but he still was a he still got
he still was a threat.
Yeah, he did, and he got the Defensive Player of the Year that year with the Sixers. He did it with Philly too. So with Mutombo, and plus Mutombo's numbers retired in both teams, the Denver and Atlanta. He got his number retired.
But if Rodman can get in, why can't Ben get in? Rodman got in for one side of the court.
But Rodman, again, we're talking about somebody that did still over a span of career as opposed to a small sample pocket size.
Okay,
he did it with every team that he was on.
And Rodman still ain't do what he did though.
Say what?
Ben got 4 of those. Rodman still ain't got. Rodman don't got 4.
No, he don't. No, he don't. But Rodman dominated the ball, dominated the rebound for almost his whole entire career. As far as a rebounding person, he did it for his whole career. Like I said, Ben only did it.
Rodman had far range to show.
Right, he got championship on top of that.
We know who he was playing with.
Right, but
but still, I'm saying they needed him to get that.
Right,
but I'm saying but his point is saying that Detroit had a good squad and complement each other. I mean, same thing with Rodman.
Yeah, but what I'm saying with Rodman is that's what I'm saying. The knock with Ben to me is just the fact it was a small sample size. If you look at Rodman's career, he was a rebounding demon his whole career. Once he decided to focus on that part of the ball. I mean, even when he was with Detroit, he was more so of an energy guy, defensive perimeter type guy. Like they would put him out there to guard the guys on the perimeter. And then he learned how to do the defense inside the paint. He learned how to rebound. And then once he learned that, he dominated that for the rest of his career, whether he was in San Antonio or Chicago.
But y'all keep saying 4 years. He actually had about 6 years of him being a really good defender. It started off in 2000, 2001. He was 5th for Defensive Player, tied for the Warriors.
5th.
Yeah, then 2000, 2002, he won it. 2000, 2003, he won it again.
2003,
2004, he finished, he was second.
And then
2004, 2005, he won it again.
And then
2005, 2006, he won it again.
And that's it.
I'm saying 2006, 2007, he finished 6th.
But
I'm just saying though, even if top 10, he's about to get 5.
If you go 4 or 5 years, it's still a small sample size. Because remember when he retired?
I'm saying 5 or 6 years. I mean, that's a small. That's half a career. That's not
half a career. Not for nobody. Not for
the average NBA career don't go 12 years.
It goes at least 10.
Okay, that's half. That's more than half. Then.
But that's still not enough. That's not a whole career dominance. That's not a whole career. You showing me that you wasn't just that bull in that system or that bull in that particular team. That's who you are as a player. Period.
You take that skill with you everywhere.
Right. You take that skill and that type of dominance everywhere you go. He didn't do that to me.
Okay, but if you gotta look at, like I said, his impact stretch everywhere. He's the only player undrafted to ever start in the All-Star game.
Right, agree.
How long the NBA been around? You talking about a lot of records and things he holding in this small sample size that have yet to be touched.
Right now.
That's a long time. But no, from before he got into the league till after he got these records. Like, nobody has still been able to touch that record. I mean, and then you got what he's doing from...
You're saying nobody, but he's tied with Mutombo for that record.
I'm just saying, but nobody else has been able to tie their record, to touch that. Like, nobody is seen close. Like,
I don't think nobody's ever going to touch that.
Exactly.
Especially the way the league is.
Right, the way the league is designed now, I don't think anybody is ever going to ever touch that again because of that.
But I'm saying, before he was in the league, nobody touched it.
Mutombo did it.
I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. But they hold it. So it's not like Mutombo beat him, they hold it. Nobody was able to touch their record before they got into the league and still after they retired. So they had many times the league changed. Nobody's still able to do it.
That's what I'm saying. But the league changed to the point to where that's not even really even an option now. You got way too many people who are a lot more athletic and doing what he's doing.
You keep focusing on after. I'm talking about before they touched it. Even before Mutombo Ben was in the league, no other player before him had 4.
Well, we don't know that because if you go by history, they're claiming that certain stats wasn't kept till almost the late 80s.
They were stepped in the 90s and the 80s. Nobody did it. 70s they had the stats that nobody still did.
They didn't have one on stats. They were saying they didn't have one on stats.
I'm just saying nobody did it.
We can't, because I guarantee you somebody, just to be funny, not to be funny, but I guarantee you one of our OGs will come on here and say Wilt did it.
So
say Wilt did it.
So you telling me 4 good years gets you in the Hall of Fame? 4 to 5 good years gets you in the Hall of Fame? I'm asking.
Depends what you
as
do.
a question.
Depends what you do to 5 years.
It depends what it depends.
Because somebody had 3 rings and then it was dominated.
No. I can't walk on that line because that will still continue to be a small sample size unless for 4 or 5 years you dominated the entire league, not just a particular part of the league, but for 4 or 5 year span you dominated the entire league.
He dominated entirely?
No, he dominated one specifically. When I'm saying dominated,
he played his role. You can't say all right.
No, he's talking about as a whole, all-around player.
As a whole, meaning you got championships them 5 years.
He got a championship.
He got one. I said, I'm saying you dominated
MVP.
Right.
You the man for 5 years.
For 5 years
You the
straight.
face.
That would be my only way of saying that. All right, a 5-year career in that aspect, I might can put you in the Hall of Fame. But for you to just dominate one particular area for 5 years, and you got one chip out of the 5 years, if you being the defensive player, or even being in that conversation, that's just a small sample size.
All I know is he was the first, he's only player in NBA history, I didn't say tied, only, to record 1,000 rebounds, 100 blocks, and 100 steals in 4 seasons straight.
Yeah, that's all.
It's only. Like, we not y'all know how many players been in the NBA? Your Rodmans, your Duncans, all those players that y'all call great defenders still ain't do what he did. So what you going to say to that? That's
Duncan had to concentrate on scoring,
right?
also,
You can't
so you can't put Duncan.
You can't put Duncan in that count. The only person you could put in that count, even with him, was Rodman.
Because
Rodman, right?
But even with Rodman, Rodman was job. See, the difference now is, to me, Rodman's job was like, look, go get rebounds and go be high energy player. That's it.
And guard the best.
Right, and
Rodman
shut the guy down.
And Rodman got in.
Shut down centers.
And Rodman got in off of that.
The best player.
And Rodman got in off of that.
Because he still leads. He
did it consistently.
Right, you're still talking about a small sample size over a consistent career.
Right.
That's my problem with Ben. If he had did that his career, or even for once he changed teams, and he still did that, then I'd be like, all right, nah, he deserved to get in there. But the fact that once that Detroit championship caliber level team that was put together got dismantled, and he left and went to a different team, he didn't carry that same style to a different team.
I know he's gonna get in. I think if as far as his story is being undrafted, I think that's gonna look good for the NBA Hall of Fame. Man.
So you feel he deserves to get in?
Yeah, I feel he deserves to get in.
Okay, you feel he deserves. I just feel like he's probably going to get in just based off the criteria of how they judging these people. Like I said, I think the year that he came up short in 2018 hurt his chances, but he still had that pop. Huh?
What year?
2018 was the year he almost made the list.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I think that year hurt his chances, but I think.
What last year? This past coming one, he narrowly last year 2019. He narrowly missed it.
Yeah. So I think that maybe.
Narrow just mean he right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think at some point in time we ever have a weak Hall of Fame indicting class, they may have to go back and say, look at somebody, and his name may pop up. That's about it.
Yeah, it just seems like the criteria changes each year with the NBA when it comes to the Hall of Fame. Some people get in because of their name.
I just know if you look at
some stats.
What's the last person that got in because they named it? We can't hold on to what they messed up before. Talk about who they messed up recently. Like don't hold on to what they.
What?
Tracy McGrady.
No, Tracy should have got in the Hall of Fame.
No.
For what?
Tracy went Hall of Fame.
We say that for other time. But for what?
13 and 13 seconds is alone.
Listen,
that's it.
Listen, you know Tracy, my boy.
13 seconds is my boy.
That's another conversation.
I can't say he got in, but I can't say I would have put him in the Hall of Fame, and that's my boy.
13 seconds.
That's one of my top 5.
13 seconds.
That's one of my top 5 favorite players of all time. But I don't know if he should have gotten the Hall of Fame.
Well, look, so it's another. That's where we stand at with Ben Wallace. Let us know what y'all think. It's another episode. Let's talk about it.